Hi there, David here from daviddumaiaudio.com, and in this video, I'll be doing a redesign of the Disruptor from the game Halo Infinite. So for those who may not know, this is a gun from the game, and I'll be doing a redesign. So I'm going to take the a clip that I found of the gun, and then what we're going to do is listen to the original, and then I actually removed all the audio and I redesigned it layer by layer. And what I like to do with you in this video is actually just go through layer by layer, how I created it, and then talk a little bit how I created each layer, everything I did from scratch, by the way, and then talk about how I processed it and put everything together. So hopefully you'll find that useful and valuable. But if you are new here and you are a sound designer and you want to learn how to create better sound effects, I have a little gift for you. It is my 5 layering techniques guide. It's a short guide PDF that I put together of 5 different layering techniques that I've used and many other professionals use to create sound effects. So if you want to grab that, I'll put it absolutely free, and links will be in the description. All right, let's get into our video. All right, so like I said, what I'm going to do first here is just play you the clip with the original audio from the game, and then I'll play you my redesign. And just a heads up, my redesign, I wasn't trying to copy or imitate the exact sound of the gun. I was trying to get inspiration from it, but do my own redesign. So my own version of it, something that I thought could match the gun and could go with the gun. But obviously it's not going to be the same or near exactly the same. So anyways, without further ado, let's just listen to this original sound clip, and then I'll play you my version. All right, so that is the original from the game, and now let's hear my redesign of it. Here we go. All right, so that is the redesign. So let's just go over my project here so you can see how I set it up. You'll see very clearly here at the top, I have here is my Gunshot. I'm actually just going to remove the automation lanes here. So here I have just the gunshots here, and these are all the layers that I have. And here at the bottom, you'll see I have 2 muted. These were for like different variations of the gun, and I was kind of playing around and seeing what I liked or didn't like. So these I ended up keeping muted, but these are all, this is the gunshot. And then under here I have the overheat, if you will, of the gun right before it goes out of ammo. And then after that, I have the reload sequence down here. So this is how the project, I have it set up. So why don't we just jump in here and have a listen to what we have. All right, so this first layer, I'm actually going to keep to last because this layer I actually added last. So why don't we start with this first layer here. This was actually my first layer. This is what I started off with to do my redesign. And actually, I'm going to remove the reverb I have on here for now. Here we go. So that was the gun. That was the layer I started with. I had this synth layer, and I just dropped that in there. I thought it kind of matched the idea of the gun here, where it's just a really short burst coming out. So that's what I was going for. And that's pretty much it. You'll see there's no processing or anything on there. And the way I created that, like most of these patches in here, is I just, inside of Faceplant, I have 2 different sounds that are generating the sound here. I have up here, I have a wavetable, and then down here I have a sample. And what I like to do is kind of blend between the 2. So either I'll turn off one and then use the other, and then I can play through the sample here. And what you'll see is that for this sound here, I have an LFO here, which has a really fast kind of transient, and I put that on the pitch so that I get this kind of kick sound. Okay, and that's how I'm getting this this kind of synthy gunshot sound effect. And then I've added like some distortion here, some filters, and then sometimes I'll add filters or remove filters. And here I just have a transient shaper, disperser, and distortion. So without that, kind of not much. That just adds a lot of punch to the sound. Right, so this is kind of the process behind creating these layers. So that's the first one here. After that, I added this one. So again, I was still going for that deep kind of like heavy gunshot sound. So together, this is what I have. And next I added this one. Let's listen to this one. So you'll notice here I'm working by layers, not only in my session here, but this is how I like to think of it as I'm creating as well. I have my two kind of thump and bass layers, and then I'm starting to go more into the mids here. And what you'll notice too is a lot of these tracks, not all of them, but I think a lot of them have track spacer on them. This is like my go-to plugin to balance out frequencies so that nothing is masking each other and you don't have like an overload of a certain frequency in the sound. So for example, I usually like to start with, let's say, this sound here. And if that was going to be like my reference point, I like to use that to remove frequencies that this sound has out of other sounds. So I'll put track spacer, for example, on this one here. And then for this layer, it's going to remove any frequencies that mask this reference layer. And you can see that here, especially the lower end, because that's the part that's really important for the gunshot. That's the part that you feel the most, more than you like hear. So I want to make sure that that's super clean and coming all from this reference file here. So if you ever notice here on the side that I have track spacer for these, that's what this is doing. I'm just cleaning out, especially the bottom end, but I'm cleaning out rooms so that no frequencies are being masked. All right, so I had my two bass layers here, a mid layer. Let's see this one. Again, another mid layer. So together it's somewhere like this. This one's a bit more mechanical. Next I had this one. This one is interesting because I actually did some processing on here. So let's remove these for a sec. So this was a really high-pitched one because I was going for something, I really wanted something that was in a lot higher frequency. So I had kind of my two lower layers. I had two kind of different mid layers here, and then I wanted something even higher. So something really high frequency. So I had this, but together it just didn't make sense. So if we play it all together, like it's just it sounds too much like noise. It just doesn't fit in with the sound. So I try to add some distortion. So that's what Trash is doing here. I'm just adding some distortion. Just a preset here is empirical drive, under the drive, empirical drive. That's it. So right away, you're getting a bit closer to a nice usable sound. And then I added manipulator on here. And this is great for sci-fi sounds, especially if you want to like make anything kind of sci-fi-esque, I guess. Like this plugin is awesome for that. So all I did on here, it's pretty simple. It's like just bring down the harmonics knob here down to negative 2.5 and listen to the difference this makes. So I'll just solo that layer so we hear it. So without it, and then with it. So this was a nice surprise, and I actually ended up using this layer as kind of like the electricity layer that you see. It just ended up fitting really well for that layer. So now when I put it all together, you get this nice sound. And we're already in a pretty good direction in terms of the gun sound. All right, so once I had that, I knew I wanted something to have more of a to fill out kind of the tail of the sound. So right now it's like really, really short, which is okay. It can definitely work. But I was just thinking of having something with the tail. So that's what this layer down here is doing. So let's listen to this one by itself. And this is just a gunshot sound that I had created from before. It's just in my library. So I kind of just dragged and dropped this in here and then just added some fades. And you'll see here, I'm fitting especially the beginning because I don't want that to interfere at all with the transients that I've already created here. I really want this just to be like a woof or like some sort of tail to the sound here. So that's all that's happening here. And again, a bit of, actually I didn't do any processing here with manipulator. So yeah, so now all together, so without this and with it. It just really helps to fill out that room and that space. It might be a little bit too much, but I thought it kind of worked, so I left it in there. And then now once I had that, I thought I had a pretty good sound to go with and to keep on implementing here. So what I did is I copied everything over, and then I went straight to my I was starting on my reload sounds when I thought, well, it could probably be a little bit brighter. That's when I added this last layer here. So I skipped this layer because this was the final layer that I added. And my idea behind this final layer is that I wanted something that was more, that was really short and a very strong transient. It didn't completely end up being that, but let's just hear what it is. Right, so you can hear it's a very, very strong transient and very high pitched. And I really had to blend this one in because if not, it would be way too loud. So you can see here I did quite a bit of processing, added some distortion, 2 instances of OTT. Remove this trash here. Track spacer again just to blend it in, and then some gain here. I actually brought down -10. I don't know why I did some wet drive there, but I did. But yeah, so it's relatively quiet compared to the rest of the sound, but it really pokes through and it makes a big difference if you bypass it. So let's have a listen. So when you bypass it, you can instantly tell a difference. Like there's something missing in the gun. Like it doesn't feel as close or as powerful. So it's something that I could play around with this one and kind of include it or not include it depending on the situation or whatnot. But yeah, so I added this final layer here just to brighten up the sound a little bit and make it punch through that much more. All right, let's move on here to this second half of the redesign. So down here I have 2 layers that I use as the overheat, as the gun comes to like almost out of ammo. So let's listen to these. And this is just to signify that the gun is nearing like the round for the magazine. So that's what I was going for here with these. So if we listen to these, to the gunshots here without it on, and then I'll put it in. Now let's put it in. So it's very subtle. I try to blend it in so it's not really sticking out or anything. It's more something you feel. But yeah, this is there to signify that. Oh, and I'll mention two other things. Well, one other thing here is for this section here when the gun is shooting faster and faster. I added 2 things. One thing to 2 different tracks, which is, let me see if I can show it here. Here. So on this track, I added manipulator here. And the reason I did is because for this section, what I wanted to do is increase the formants. So basically kind of increase the pitch as the gun is shooting so that it feels like it's overheating or it's coming near to the end of the magazine. So let's hear it. Right, so it's going up in pitch. It's very slight. It's very gradual, but it is there to help sell that overheating element. Right, and I did that as well for this layer down here. Actually, this layer, I did the same thing, but it's cool because this one actually, it sounds like the pitch is going down rather than going up, even though the formant's going up. So it's kind of interesting. Like you get this weird phase happening where the pitch feels like it's going down. So together, you get this cool effect where you have this element here rising and this one kind of falling. Right, so that helps to not have that gunshot or that machine gun effect, and to sell the idea that you're going to overheat here, and then as well as these 2 layers here also do that. So that's what is happening here. All right, let's listen to this last section here, which is all these reload sounds. So I'm going to start off with just these 2. So let's have a listen to these. So this sound here is, I wanted to have something so that like when he hits off the top of the gun here to like do the reload, you have kind of this like weird like impact sound. So that's what I'm doing here. So let's break this down. So I think this is the main sound here, this layer. I probably could have kept that one and not have this one. Maybe I'll remove this one. So this one was just like an additional touch just to have that sci-fi element. Right, it's just like this metallic ring sound that I had on here, and I kind of layered it with this. It doesn't really need it. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. Maybe I should remove this, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, this is what I had here. All right, let's go to what else I have down here. Okay, so the reload sound, this one's interesting. So I have quite a few layers here. So I think, yeah, this one here was my main reference point, and then I kind of added on top of this one. So let's listen to this one. By the way, if you want to learn how I created these sounds, I made a video about it, so I'll put it in the cards above in the top right corner there. And then, yeah, so you can see how I created these sounds. But that's one sound here. Then once I had that, then it was just a matter of like layering it with other stuff and making it a little bit bigger. So the next one that was this one. And then I added, I think this one here. So again, these are just extra layers just to thicken up the sound. And you can see a lot of these work very similar. So what I did is I just took Manipulator again, and I just pitched the format down a little bit, added some harmonics here, down -4, so that I'm having different pitches. So this one is a lower pitched. And then this one, you know, is more higher pitched. Right? It's more of like a mid frequency. This one is, let's see, a bit higher frequency. So you have like different frequencies being used up here. Okay. Then after that, I added some more stuff here. So let's listen to these here. So I added these two. And these are more higher frequency, and they're just more mechanical sounds rather than the sound of the bar being put on the gun. This is more like little gadgets or things getting clicked into place. So that's what these are doing here. So all together with these now. And you'll see that I'm offsetting them a little bit, right? So these gadget sounds here are a bit more, a bit after the main sound of the gun being, or of the reload bar being placed on the gun. And I'm also like looking at the video here, and you can see like where the click goes back into place, and you can see like I'm lining it up with that. All right, after I had these in place, I think one of the last things I added was this here. And this was just to have a bit more thump to the sound as the player reloads and puts the bar in. So this is it. So it's just a kick, like a kick drum. And I was just adding it to have a bit more punch to the sound. So let's hear it. So without it, it's fine. You know, you could go with that, but with it, it just sounds a little bit more interesting. You have to be really careful with this though, because you can definitely do too much. So you have to really balance it. Like you don't want it. You want it to kind of really blend in. All right, so let's hear it with this now. Great, and now I had a few final touches, and I think it was this one. Was it this one? Yeah, so this one's interesting. This is just like some screws and stuff that I dropped on the ground, and I was recording that. And then I just, again, manipulated here. Just always helps to sell that sci-fi element. And it just makes it sound more mechanical. It's just another metal layer, but it fits into this sci-fi context. So all together, now we have this. So without that little screw drop, you're just missing that kind of metallic ring, and then with it, it's great. Okay, next is these final layers here, and these are the like, I don't know what it is, but in the original, you have this sound of the gun like it's like recharging or reloading. So if we listen here, I'll mute these, undo those. Okay, let's listen to this. Right, so you have this sound of the gun like it's charging or it's like getting ready, like back online. So this is what these layers are doing. So this is to this. So that was my inspiration for that. And then here I just had something that was opposite motion. So something going down. Not necessary. I could probably get rid of this one, but it works okay together. And then at the end, you just have the 2 little clicks to say that the gun's ready to go. And this is also from the original here. So if I play the original. So you can see there's like this clicky sound here at the end. That's what I was trying to go for here at the end here. Mine's a bit cleaner. It's a bit different, but I think it kind of works. All right, and that's pretty much it. So let's hear this final section all together here. And that's it. That's how I created all of these sounds. All right, so just to go through again, let's listen to the original, and then I'll go back, play mine, and then I think that'll be it. Oh, I forgot one last thing, and that was the reverb. And this just helps to sell the sound. So here I have Symphony 3D. I used an exterior preset. I tweaked a little bit the tail of the sound of the reverb because it was a little too bright, and I wanted to feel a bit darker. So I did change that down here. Apart from that, though, I don't think I changed much. I think I changed the width a little bit of the tail because it was set to narrow. I put it a bit wider, and then I increased the reverb time to time that I thought fit with the context, and then I brought down the mix to 22. So let's listen to this. And actually, also, the only place that I'm putting the reverb on are the shots. I'm not putting it on the reload or anything else because it's only the shot really that would affect the reverb. So that's why I have it only on there. So let's listen without and then with. Right, so it really helps to place the sound in this environment. So that is pretty much it. All right, so that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found it useful and valuable. If you want to see more gun redesigns that I've done, I'll put some in the cards above up here if you're interested in seeing more and learning more about doing some sci-fi gun redesigns. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. I always do my best to answer them. And just a reminder to grab that free PDF, the 5 layering techniques guide for creating sound effects. Links will be in the description. All right, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.